Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk with Elaine. Thank you for joining me. My name is Elaine. I have been on my GLP-1 journey through Manjaro since March 29th, 2024. I am currently in week 41. So, just giving you a very quick update. When I started Manjaro, I started at 5 milligram. I did not start on a 2.5, which is what is your normal starting loading dose. But I started on 5 milligrams, and from there, I moved up, titrated up, and I am now currently at week 41. I've just titrated up to 12.5. Now, I did this once before and went up to 12.5, but I didn't feel really comfortable with it. I was struggling, having a hard time eating and holding food in, and I just thought it was really too strong for me. So I did drop back to 10 milligram, but here recently, I decided it's time for me to move up to 12.5 because I have not been as successful on the weight loss part of my journey. Now I was type 2 diabetes, and so I was taking this medication to assist me with that, and that has been an amazing piece of accomplishment for me because I do now. My A1C is very low. I think the last time I checked, and I'm getting ready to do a new lab. My doctor just ordered it on Monday this week, but last time I checked, I think I was like 5.1. Or 5.4. I'll go back and check and maybe put it up in the description or whatever. But I am doing so well with my A1C now. So just wanted to now try to push my weight back to where it needs to be. I started the journey at 300 pounds in March, and now I am currently at 249.2. I believe was my last that was the last weigh in. Now I know I've lost up to 56 pounds. And so now what I see is that because I have a comorbidity of lymphedema as well, which is swelling and inflammation that occurs in mainly in my lower extremities, my legs and my ankles and my feet. And so as a result of it, sometimes my weight goes up and down. Excuse me, I am just getting over the flu, so I still have a lot of congestion going on. So I apologize for that. The way that I control my lymphedema normally is through water pills or Lasix, as most people know. So I do take about 20 milligrams of Lasix that I take. I try not to take it every single day because anyone that's going through lymphedema know that Lasix is not really the best regimen of medication for it. There is no cure for lymphedema. So that's also something else that we struggle with through this year as we embark 2025. I do plan to move into talking more about my lymphedema journey. My wonderful friends and other co-content creators in this GLP-1 community have always encouraged me to be very transparent about that and to discuss it because I don't want to distract those who are looking to begin this journey or those who have already been on this journey. I don't want to distract you from thinking that this medication doesn't work. As I've said just in recent videos, it's not a miracle medication to me. What it is an amazing tool to help me to be more committed to what I need to do throughout this journey. So, without further ado, you have tuned in tonight for my weekly Audacity series, which normally airs on Tuesdays. I usually put it out on Tuesday. So I am on this East Coast snowstorm thing right now, and a lot's been going on, as well as I just mentioned, I've been really dealing with a flu epidemic for the past, I would say, week and a half. I went to Vegas for Christmas, had a wonderful time in Vegas, came back on last Saturday, and which was like the 28th, I believe, of December. And immediately once I touched ground, I got sick and I didn't know what it was. So I kind of let it linger for a few days. Don't do that. And I I finally on New Year Day, I actually went to the urgent care. And that's when I was tested and found out that I had the flu. Thank God it wasn't COVID. I'd already done a COVID test at home, so I kind of knew it wasn't COVID, but I have never had the flu. So this was really new for me. And it does wear your body down. If you've never had the flu, trust me, you do not know how it can just totally incapacitate you for days and days and days. So I was prescribed Tamiflu, and I'm feeling so much better now. And the greatest thing is the snow did come. We got about 12 inches in my hometown. And so therefore I didn't have to work. I work in education. So our school system was closed. Yay! So we had 3 additional days. So now today is Wednesday, January 8th. It is about 4:44 a.m. I've been up most of the night, just prepping for some things that I'm trying to work on. And I just thought, let me just jump in. I didn't give my Tuesday video while I was out of town last week. So I apologize for that inconsistency. I promise you guys I will be better. I have been doing really good getting videos out. And so, but last week I was out in Vegas, and then this past week, obviously, I'm still trying to come through getting over my flu. But we're good. We're getting back on track, and thank you. And that leads me to our our topic for today. So good that I said that. And that topic for today is the audacity of beginning again. The audacity of beginning again. So here's some of the things that I want to talk about with beginning again. Sometimes beginning again can be pretty scary. We don't know what that really means. We really don't know how to define it sometimes. But I can say it means different things to different people. And depending on the context of an individual's life, sorry, my dog is down here. He scared me. He just coughed. Depending on the context of people's lives, it's also an opportunity to reset. We know what that means. Refresh and just approach life from a new angle, or just a new direction, however you want to look at it. When we talk about this GLP-1 journey, as I always try to tie everything back into that with my audacity, it really means looking at what we are trying to do. What are you resetting? What are you refreshing? And what a great time to start off with the new year talking about beginning again, because this is usually when people kind of look at themselves and determine what's new for me this year. What do I want to do differently this year? How do I want to make a difference in my life and my journey this year? And so um, sometimes that means going back and looking at what you've done and maybe things you fell off the wagon on over time. But right now, I want to talk about how does it look with us on this GLP-1 journey, whether you're on Zepbound, Manjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy, anything, compound, anything that you're on to try to reset your life and to try to take control of this weight or obesity or other diabetes or other comorbidities that you're dealing with. How will you reset this year? How will you start over, and how will you begin again? So let's talk about what this could signify for you. Number one, reset. Well, beginning again simply means just giving yourself a fresh start. Whether, sometimes, oh my God, I did this back in, I don't know what year it was. I think it was 1995. My husband was in the military, and he decided that he wanted to get out and go back to school. And I was like so devastated. And I was like, I don't want you to do this. This is not where I want to go right now. I love the military life. I loved just being taken care of and had a great job. And we were located in Fort Stewart, Georgia. And finally, I just said, well, this is what he wants to do. So we had to do what? Make a fresh start. So it meant picking up our family and moving to another state and just starting all over and beginning again. That's very scary. We'll talk about some of those hindrances to why we don't want to do that later. But that's what a fresh start really is. It was like beginning again, coming to a new place, meeting new people, having to kind of immerse ourselves into the different culture and environment of our new state, of our new community. So just having to do all of that. In the GLP-1 world, there's no difference. When you're coming into this and you're trying to determine, do I want to go compound? Do I want to go brand in terms of my medication? Who do I want to trust and depend on in this, especially in this YouTube world? Because there's so many different content creators and there's so much that we all have to offer. And it's just a great opportunity for you to kind of figure out where you kind of fit in at. And so, and then determining, is this something I want to do? Do I want to chronicle my journey? Or am I just someone that wants to sit in the back and watch and, you know, do this on my own? And I don't really need a whole lot of support from people around me. You just have to decide where does it all fit in for you? But it also is a chance, a fresh start is a chance for you to leave behind some past mistakes or regrets and embrace new possibilities. So if those mistakes for you have been, you know, always getting on these fad diets and dropping off and then having to return back later and have people who you thought were in your corner say to you, oh, here you go again, you're starting something new, da, 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 da. Those types of things can be distracting to you and your fresh start. So just knowing that, just leaving all that mess behind you, you know, just put it behind. It's not worth it. Next thing is personal growth. So when you look at your personal growth and how it helps you with this beginning again, that's letting go of some of the old habits and mindsets and just adopting those new ones. And you know, one of the things we did recently on New Year's Day, we had a wonderful vision board party, and it was sponsored by one of our content creators in our community, Downsizing Diva. And with that, that day was so fun because we all were able to come up with our own themes of what we wanted to do for our vision for our new year. And I was trying to post mine that I actually showed. And I mean, it was enlightening for me. And some of the things that I have on my vision board was to exercise regularly, to do positive thinking. You know, sometimes corrupt negative thinking can just be a hindrance to everything that you're trying to do. To get more involved and develop more healthy relationships. That was another vision of mine. Personal growth. Personal growth is, I always thought about, I wanted to go back to school and perhaps start working on my doctorate. I actually attempted it before. That's one of those things where you had, you know, a regret or, you know, past mistake or, you know, something that just didn't work out. And I was like, I really want to do that. So I want to explore that again this year. And I promise to do that for myself. The next thing is to travel. I love traveling. My husband and I have just been traveling quite a bit over the past couple of years, and we continue to do that and want to increase that in our lives. We have no children, little children anymore. We have no grandchildren. So it's important for us that we just get out and enjoy ourselves. Saving and investing money. That's something that sometimes when you're raising a family, that doesn't happen as quickly for you. So it's an opportunity now that I have to put more money aside to do some things that I want to do, like travel. Okay. Um, being more persistent. Excuse me. And I had on there that nothing in the world can take the place of persistence, and it can't. We have to press on. We have to do things. We have to stay um, focused on what it is that we're trying to do, and just don't give up. Like with a pit bull mentality, hang on to things that's your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, because that's what persistence means. Staying with it, staying with it. Spiritual wellness and therapy. Love that so much because, as I've always taught, therapy is a huge part of who I am. It's who I connect with, it's how I've related to me, and it's helped me so much even on this journey. And then, of course, spiritual wellness. I mean, most of us were raised in a pretty spiritual environment, and so sometimes we get distracted and get pulled away from those things through life, as life lifes for us, as we say it. But as life lives, God gods, okay? So it's important for us to be reconnecting ourselves to what we believe in and what keeps us whole. Being more intentional, that's another goal of mine for 2025. Not just letting things happen by happenstance, but actually making sure that I put forth effort so that those things happen intentionally. Healthy eating. That was something that I'm really proud of that I started putting together in 2024. As I've been on this journey, you will kind of have more desire to eat healthier because you don't want to do all this, work, being on this medication and not actually putting forth the effort to eat appropriately and change some of those eating habits. So making sure that you have a well balanced, high focus protein diet is what would be best for you during this journey. And then the final goal for me, which is very personal, is focus on my marriage. Marriage is work and it takes a lot of work. And there's been a lot of ups and downs in, my marriage as in anyone's marriage. And so I want to focus on that because when you're raising children, sometimes it's a real distraction for you in terms of building your relationship with your spouse, your partner, whomever. And so for me, I want to focus more on, my relationship as we have entered into kind of mid to older adulthood. And so it's real different here. It's real different and I do like it. And I want to focus more on it and developing it and making it continuously healthy for both my husband and I. All right. So that took us through personal growth. And then I'd say one more area where I would say that where we can focus or look at how we begin again is, I would say, creative renewal. There are some things that we've been sitting back on and we just don't look at some of our gifts and our talents. One thing, this YouTube channel, I never thought I wanted to do it. Some of the content creators always call me. I actually had this discussion yesterday with Downsizing Diva, and I was like, I don't really consider myself a content creator. And I think I said this to Alonda too the other day. I was like, I'm not a content creator. Like, y'all stop calling me that. I'm really just a subscriber. I actually thought about coming up with a whole new name for content creator slash subscriber, like subscriber. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what I would call myself, but I really see myself just really gleaming so much from those who come on here every single day and they show me just such gifts and talents that they have. And they just seem so natural. And I was questioning myself, do you have those same talents? Do you have those same gifts? Is this something that you can do? So I'm going to embrace it because everyone's getting kind of, upset at me like, why do you keep saying that you're not doing it? You put out content and your content is good. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to embrace this. So I have to think of being a creative renewal kind of person, like looking at myself that, I can do this. I have the ability to do this. I have great ideas and great thoughts. I know how to put things together. I know how to present. So I do need to be more confident in that. And so that's what I plan to do. I need to just trust myself a lot more and be more confident in being able to deliver this content to you. So that's something that I look at as how I need to develop a fresh start for where I'm going this year. Overall, it's about giving myself some grace and permission to start anew. That's just it. And I say the same thing to you. Give yourself grace and know that everything's not going to happen overnight, but this is something that you can do for yourself, and and you owe it to yourself. And then it's an opportunity for us to look at how our doors can open in the future and how things can just maybe explode overnight for us. We just never know. For your GLP-1 journey, this is an opportunity for you to see how you can be committed to something and work through it and with it and see it to the end and feel better about yourself, feel better about how you look, feel better how you show up at work, how the confidence that you can exude now, because you know that weight sometimes is something that people see first and they categorize us by it. And I've talked about this in previous videos. So you don't want that to be an area where people categorize you and you're that's what they see you as. So I think the confidence that you get once you are on this journey and you start to see yourself and your body transitioning a little bit, then it's like, or transforming, should I say, not transitioning, where hope that's not happening, but transforming from what you were to what you'll become, that helps so much with your confidence. So some things can be pretty scary though as we begin again. So I want to talk about those real quick. Number one, fear of the unknown. What is going to happen? Uncertainty about the future. And, it does bring a little anxiety and some hesitation. A lot of people have anxiety and hesitation about taking these medications. Some people are terribly afraid of shots. And so when you think of a shot, you're like, I can't do that. I'm not giving myself a shot. I've had people to say that to me, and it's okay. I don't put any pressure on them, but I do try to reassure them that it's really not what you think it is, and it's not. And so, for those who have family broken down and was like, okay, let me take my shot, because I think I saw on someone's live last week where one of the subscribers said that she'd had her, I think it was on Traces of Twan's life, where I think a subscriber said she had her box of, I think she was on waiting to get on Wegovy, and she was like, she had it in her refrigerator like a month. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I did wait one day after I got my first box of Manjaro because I was scared, and I did have to have my husband give me my first shot. But whatever it is you need to do, get through that fear. It's okay. And, I remember Twan asked the young lady to come up on her stage and let us all help her. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to do it at that time, but, hopefully she has taken her shot since then. And I think everybody in the community that was on that live that night was so encouraging to her and just trying to get her to come through and do what she needed to do, because we know what it's done for us. And so we wanted to make sure that she had. Another reason why things kind of hold us back sometimes is emotional baggage. We don't want to begin again because of past traumas, unresolved conflicts, lingering regrets, as I mentioned before, and it can weigh heavily on or impede our progress. So I'm no one new to trauma, as you all have known from some of my previous videos and my childhood trauma and different things that I expressed to you all through previous videos. So trauma is very debilitating, especially when you're trying to begin again. Understand you have got to do the work so that you can get beyond that, because your new beginning is so much greater than what you've had in the past. Okay. Okay. Your former will be greater than your latter, and I like to just say that. So just know that if you can just do the work to let some of those things go and have confidence in what you need to do to press on, you will be all the better. Sometimes we don't want to begin again because we feel we don't have support, lack of support. Well, you don't have that issue in this community. As I shared with you over and over again, there's a channel for everybody. There's something for everybody for you to watch so that you can get the education and the development and the support that you need on this journey. This is a station I'd love, make sure that I'd love for you to just stay around and partake with us on. But there's so many other different content creators out here who are also giving you the tools that you need to stay on task with your journey on GLP-1. So never feel like there's a lack of support here. And there might be lack of support in your personal life, like your immediate family, friends, what have you, but you can definitely just come here and get what you need. And I promise you, it would mean so much more to you on your journey. A few other things is self-doubt, and we all know what that is, just not believing in who you are. I already spoke to your confidence. And are you in your comfort zone when you begin again? I just mentioned how this channel for me was very uncomfortable initially. And so now I am finding my comfort zone with it. I find that every time I come before you on camera, I feel so much better. I have a higher sense of confidence. So making sure that your comfort zone is a place where you can get relaxed and just allow things to happen organically, because that's what I'm doing right now. So the final thing I want to talk about is you must carefully plan when you begin again. What are the steps that you need to take in beginning again? Number one, you should reflect a little bit on the past. Spend some time looking at what was done and why the fresh start was even needed. For me, I looked at myself and I knew I had had a gastric bypass surgery in 2013, and I found myself 11 years later looking at being only maybe about 80 to 100 pounds less than when I had my gastric bypass surgery after I had lost so much weight. So I've gone from, like, before the bypass surgery, I was almost 400 pounds, and I'd gone down to 190 after the gastric bypass. And then again, as I share with you, in my journey that started March of 2024, I'm back up to 300 pounds. So that was not good for me at all. And so that's what I reflected on. And I knew that that's not what I wanted anymore. So that's when I made the decision that I had to do a new start, and I had to find something else to do. But this can help you, by reflecting, can help you look back at those past mistakes or reasons why you weren't successful, and help you identify with yourself what you truly want. Next, number two, set clear goals. Goals should always be measurable, and I've always said that before in some of the previous videos. Your goals have to be able to be definitive, and they have to be measurable. If you don't, then you're just simply throwing things out there in the atmosphere that may never happen. So you want to define what you want to achieve in the beginning. And you know what? Reset your goals, because I honestly believe, and your goals should be attainable too. I think I said that last week. Um, Reset your goals, because sometimes we set unrealistic goals for ourselves. And I know that, sometimes people get on this journey, they get their medication, their first box, and they're like, and I've heard people say this to me that have since dropped off, and I'm not going to lie about that. People will drop off real fast when they don't see that this is a measurable or an attainable goal. Their goal is not attainable, should I say. Their goal may be, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds by next week. Who does that? Like, that's just not realistic. And I've actually, I mean, maybe not that exaggerative, but I've heard people say things like that, though. Like, oh, I'm just here, I'm just going to lose 30 pounds within the next month. And then that way I can fit into the dress for my daughter's wedding. If that's the only reason why you want to lose 30 pounds when you absolutely need to lose 100, that makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me. Okay, so it lets me know your priorities are not guided correctly. So set clear goals and be specific, and let them be measurable, and think about the relevancy of them and the time frame that you have to lose. You're going to create a plan and build your support system. That's very, very important. So I've already told you how to build it through us here, and I hope that you will stay around and join. Stay positive. Stay positive. You heard that was one of the things on my goals or my vision board for 2025, is that I want to be able to stay positive. Positive thinking. Get negativity from around you. People that's thinking negative or that give you negative energy, you don't have to be bothered with them. You can get rid of them. You don't have to deal with them. Even if they're your family, you can find a way to eliminate that negative energy. I promised myself that I'm going to do that this year. Had some rough starts at the beginning of this year, but I promise you, you will be eliminated. You will be omitted from my life if you continue to bring negative energy toward me because I'm in control of this. And that's what I encourage all of you to do. Okay. So lastly, I just want to say, remember, every step you take brings you closer to your new beginning. Embrace your journey and trust in your ability to create life in you. So you need to take charge of who you are and don't let anyone else take that from you. You can begin again, and beginning today is just the right time. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you guys back next week. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment, and I'll see you soon. Bye.